Hello, hello, everybody. Hope everybody is having an amazing Thursday. Welcome to another lunchtime chat. So I've got Bekah with me today. I'm so excited to have her here. We are going to be talking to Bekah all about her journey with Rediscover You Free, her journey with food freedom, and understanding a little bit more about the world of intuitive eating or mindful eating. And so yeah, Bekah, thank you so much for being here with me. I would love to know, where are you coming from? And how did you first hear about me or Rediscover You Free?
Yeah, so I'm coming from Georgia, and I found Kelsey or in the program too on Instagram. So I started following Kelsey's Instagram page and was very inspired. And not just that, but I identified with a lot of her content about like not feeling like you're getting the food thing right or the all or nothing mentality. I was like, that's me. And so I kept following her stuff. And I think I followed you for I think a year, maybe
It's been almost
2 years.
2 years.
Oh, was it really 2 years?
Mhm.
Wow. The pandemic is like it's all
I know, I just like
a big
disappeared.
time blur. But no, yeah, it was a while, and I was very inspired and tried some of the joined the Facebook group too, which is awesome. And then I finally decided to join the program and actually make the commitment, which was a really hard choice for me to do. It wasn't easy, but I'm so grateful I said yes. That's kind of that's where I kind of eased into it. It was
I would
definitely an ease.
It was an ease, yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, and please note, like, you're not the only one who's followed me for a year, 2 years, and then and I think you and I talked about this on a call once before, of just kind of like when it's right, when it's the right timing. Timing is everything. So I would love to know for you, if you could deep dive into it, like, where were you before you made the decision to actually join the program? Like, I know you had said you had tried this whole intuitive eating thing on your own, and that there was some times where it felt good and then sometimes where it didn't feel so good. What was it that sparked that, you know what, I need some accountability, I need something more?
Yeah. I think it was just very hard to do it, to even learn about intuitive eating. Like I got the book, I got all the resources that you sent me, which were awesome and helpful and helped me understand it more. Um, but I think it wasn't until I had that community of other people who have a similar struggle, because if you don't have a struggle with food or just the concept around food and feeling like an all or nothing person around it, like it's hard to explain to people who want to be supportive but don't really get it. I think making the decision to have the community of people who I didn't know them at all before I was going into it, but of people who I knew from you explaining that they do understand, and it's accountability and celebrating with people who understand what you're going through, I think was a huge game changer. Because I did go through the whole, trying to do intuitive eating, and also the I always mess this up. Is it the U8 app or it's the 8 app? It's the 8 app.
It's okay.
I love
They're on Instagram. They're at UYOU
yeah.
8ATE.
I
But their
just
actual app is called
It's the 8 app.
8. And so, like, if anyone's like,
Yeah,
it's the little like that little orange,
the
this 8
orange.
app right there. Yes. So you had
Yeah,
tried doing that on your own.
they're U8 in my head, but they're awesome. Like I followed their Instagram, and I even did the app a lot. But I just think I couldn't really talk to anyone about it. I think I really struggled trying to use the past tense with emotional eating and stress eating, and feeling shame around food and all of that stuff. And I didn't really have someone to go like talk to about it, or I tried the intuitive eating basically, and And I think I didn't fully understand it because on the surface, I didn't really fully understand it until being with the community. So I think I kind of went through waves of feeling sort of good on it, but then, then jumping on the scale and then feeling really intimidated, like, what's going on? Am I doing this right? Like, I don't even know what I'm doing because I'm so used to diet culture my whole life, or since, 12 or something like that, that like, I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, so I think that was what changed for me, is a decision to join the program and then to really be invested in my like journey. Like I decided that even more than saying yes to the program, I decided to invest and really be present as much as I can.
And how did that make a switch? So I'd love, like, we have a ton of like testimonial from you, like with all sorts of different, even like, I think it was yesterday, even talking about Krispy Kreme donuts or whatever else. But like, I would love for you, like, what were some moments, maybe your top 3 moments that really stand out to you that you're like, oh my gosh, like ever since I've joined this program, this has been like, these were the game changing moments for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So to put it in one word, I'll explain it with a story, but to put in one word is mindset. My mindset completely shifted. It almost felt like magic. I was like, what is going on? Like this seems too easy. Like I was confused. I mean, if I'm sure you remember me at the beginning, I think I was in week 1 or week 2. Like, I don't even think it was past that. And I was like, my whole life is changing. Like, what is going on? And it was just this mindset shift. And I remember when I started the program, I think it was someone's birthday, and I decided, I was like, I'm going to be present. I'm going to try to listen to my body to see when I'm actually hungry and when I'm actually full, because in life, everything's revolved around food. Like you always have a birthday, you always have, parties or holidays, and it's like it can be very stressful for someone who struggles with food. So so that was pretty cool. I was like, oh wow, I'm only eating 1 piece of key lime pie because I actually was content, and I'm actually listening to my body. So that was like the very first thing. And then I think it was that weekend or the next weekend, my friend is getting married. She's married now. And we went on our bachelorette weekend, which is full of food, and some drinking and, how it is. But, and I was a little nervous, but I made the decision. I was like, I am going to be present with my friends. This is going to be a memory that I'll have forever. And I don't want to waste any time being concerned about food. And I think just promising myself that has been a big game changer in progress, because I didn't realize that I didn't have the best relationship with myself. Like I'm a really, if anyone knows me, like I'm a really loyal person. I'm a good friend and a good family member, and I stick to my word, and I'm a woman of my word. That's how I would describe myself. But I didn't realize that I wasn't a woman of my word to myself. Like I wasn't even aware. And I also view myself as a very aware person, but this is something that I just didn't realize. So back to the bachelorette weekend, I promised myself, I was like, I'm going to be present. And you know what? I was fully present. The food was so good. And I don't remember ever having a stomach ache. I just had so much fun. I ate and put my fork down, which, it was kind of a foreign concept to me. Like I just ate slowly and mindfully, and I was laughing, and I would normally do some of those things like just on my own. Like some of those things, like I would have fun with my friends still, but there was just so much more. I was able to be so much more present in all of those moments because I didn't have a stomach ache. My digestion was great. Like that's another thing that I really said at the beginning. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of like going on all these different directions, but talking about it. But that was a huge thing for me, my digestion. Like I am someone who I'm like, oh, I feel like I am sensitive to dairy. And there was actually a point in life where I really was, and I had to stay away from it. But I kind of grew out of it. And I was like, I feel like maybe is it bread? Is it dairy? And I was having these digestion issues. And I was like, what is going on? I would get so frustrated. Then I would restrict myself from a certain food group out in the name of health, trying to figure out what's wrong with me. And then I would like overeat it another way. And it just was that cycle for me. And so when I started this program, I just was eating way less because I was listening to my body and I was respecting my body enough to be like, oh, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat. Oh, now I'm content. Like I'm gonna stop. And like that's a normal thing for a lot of people to just, but that was never something that I did growing up. Like I just, their big house, like there's food, like we weren't like worried about having food on the table, but there was just food and there's kids around and you're like, okay, if you don't like, you just got to eat. And until, your stomach, my stomach hurt. And so my digestion completely improved when I started this program, just because I was more aware and I was able to be more present because my stomach didn't hurt.
Which is huge.
So,
that's
yeah.
massive to be able to understand that.
Yeah.
Oh man. And I know,
Yeah.
sorry, can you hear me okay? Is our internet?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yes, we're good.
Okay. So digestion, being able to be present. What were some other things that maybe you weren't expecting that you've like, when you say mindset, what other things have changed for you through this program and healing your relationship, not only with food in your body, but like you said, with yourself?
Yeah. I think too, I am viewing eating now more as an experience.
Mhm.
So, whereas like, I mean, like I love food, like before the program, I love food. I still love food. It's great, but I think viewing each thing as an experience. So each like food time. So, which can make it really exciting because, you eat a few times a day and it's a big part of your life. And like, if this person or food or whatever, if you're making an analogy, you're just like constantly in tension with all the time, it's a big problem because like if food was a person, like you can't get rid of them because they're there. So you might as well, it's like having, like a sister or whatever, a family member, you have to work it out.
Mhm.
And your roommates. That
Yes,
I never really thought of that analogy till right just now, but I don't know. That was just something that popped in my head. But viewing it as an experience and like, and what I mean by that is not having the distraction of my phone. And you've said that before, and I was like, oh, and I was like, oh yeah, that's good. Like just being mindful and knowing that, but really leaving my phone in the other room. I use some of the concepts of the 8 app and the timing, and because it like it says when you ate your meal, and then like the hours in between and all of that. So I'm aware of how long it's taking me to eat, and that's something that the 8 app really helped me with, because I didn't realize I was eating fast, like really fast, and learning that it takes 15 to 20 minutes for hunger and fullness cues. I ended up eating so much because like I don't even know that I'm full, and then I just keep eating until like it hits you and you're like, oh no, like I didn't even know. So being aware of the timing has been really helpful, and really like sitting down without distractions, whether with family or friends or by myself too, and really chewing your food and being in the moment and really figuring out what your food tastes like, and then stopping when you're content. That was pretty foreign, very foreign to me. And that part is harder than feeling that you're hungry, like that gentle hunger. I'm like really understanding what that is now, which I'm really excited about. But I think even saying out loud too, like, I'm excited for this experience. I'm excited for this ice cream experience. Like, and viewing it as that, instead of, I don't know, maybe having good feelings around food, then feeling like, oh my gosh, like if I eat too much, then I'm going to feel like I have to restrict. And then the cycle goes every day. So I think viewing it as an experience, and how it's affected me too, just in day-to-day life, I just feel mentally healthier too, because I am making fulfilling promises to myself. I remember doing I love working out. I love having new fitness goals. And right before I started the program, I was doing a push-up challenge, and I think it was 50 push-ups a day, not at once. Don't be misinformed. Not at once, but just like throughout the day. And normally I'll have a fitness challenge or something, and sometimes I'll actually finish it, but other times I get inspired. That's something about me. I get inspired very quickly. Like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, right? And then I like go all in, and then I go all out, like just like that all or nothing mentality. And so I was halfway through the push-up challenge, I think, when I started the program, and I'm like, perfect thing to keep up. Like, that's awesome to have a goal and I went to, I was on a few work trips. Like I went to California and to Arizona and like all these different places. And I still did my push-ups. Like, I was a long day. I think it was 10 o'clock at night, and I had 20 more push-ups to go. And normally I would be like, screw it, I'm on a work trip. Like, I'm exhausted, I need to go to bed. But I was like, no, I kept a promise to myself. And that's what, like, it wasn't just the focus on like, oh, I'm doing this because I want my stomach to be smaller, or I want to lose weight. It was because I made a promise to myself. And I think that's a tangible example of how my mindset shifted, is like, I'm doing this because I'm someone who keeps her promises, to even to herself, not just other people. And so like, it's good, I want to be healthier and want to have muscle, and all this stuff. And those things are coming like as a byproduct, but my focus is like, how can I be the best version of myself and not attaching all this shame around it? So I think that the mindset of like, what can I do to keep up with my, to keep promises to myself, has been a huge mindset shift, as opposed to, oh, I need to work out because I feel really bad about that meal, and I feel guilty and I need to work out harder and I need to do more cardio. Or I need to do push-ups because like, I just need to do push-ups. But it was like, no, I'm going to do it. And then I finished it. And then I got COVID right after that. But I finished it. Like I finished at the end. I did 50 push-ups every day except, Saturdays, but I did it. And that was like a huge accomplishment, not just the physically being able to do 50 push-ups, but just the mentally part. And I didn't realize how much more of mentally there is to this, and more holistic than I thought.
Oh, I love that. And I'd love for you to just chat really quick, because, and I even have it recorded, your biggest fear, like you said, I'm someone who gets really excited about something. I'm someone who gets started and I'm inspired and I go all in. And you said at the beginning, like, my big fear is I'm going to fail. This is going to be one more thing that I'm going to fail. And I'd love for you to kind of like talk me through how that has now shifted. Now you're 2 months in. What is your perception of that?
You know what? I was thinking to myself as you started talking about it, I was like, I don't even know what she's talking about. Like, I forgot, which kind of, I guess, shows how far I've come. But so I think too, in the program, it's right, Kelsey, correct me if I'm wrong, ambitious women who want to heal their relationship with food so they can show up fully and presently in their lives. I'm sure I'm butchering it a little bit.
No, that's awesome. That's perfect.
Something like that, right? So I am very ambitious. I am very successful. Like, I was a college athlete. I have gotten, not to brag or anything. I'm just saying,
absolutely.
I've gotten awards over time, and even the clubs that I was in school and all these things I've gotten. I'm a good person. Like, I'm a good human. Like, I'm successful is what I'm trying to say. But when it comes to food, I'm successful with working out too, right? I'm successful in the gym. Like, I worked out ever since I was 12 years old. And I know there's a lot of women who are intimidated to be on the gym floor, and like, that's a real thing. But I personally can't relate to that because I am confident in walking in the gym because I learned from such a young age. But when it comes to food, I could never get it right. Like, there was so much shame and so much like guilt, and it was something that I couldn't even really talk about. Like, like I could talk about it with some people, but not really. Like, I would do a diet or whatever, and I had like a best friend growing up, and if she went to college and And, she comes back, I'm on a new diet. And it's like, oh, which diet are you on now? It's like,
Mhm.
and it's just like, I could never figure it out. And I felt like I failed every time. I felt like I failed even every week, even if I started something. I only really restricted myself like really hardcore for this like 8-week challenge that I did. That I realized
Yeah, right before I met you.
that was
Yeah.
another reason I kind of came to this program. Because I lost a lot of weight in 8 weeks, and it was so unhealthy, and it was an accomplishment to lose all that weight, but it was such an unhealthy way that it was just like, this is not sustainable at all.
Mhm.
And then I ended up this is the other reason why I know I'm kind of going off track a
You're
little
fine.
bit, but I um I gained the weight back and more.
Mhm.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, I never even thought I was going to see that number. And I just was so like disgusted with myself. And I was like, oh my gosh, how could I have gone to this? Um, and that was that 8-week challenge. I was like, oh my gosh, like it was hard. So with food, it was never able to get it right. Like I just couldn't do it. I failed all the time. And I was really scared to like, just to be genuine. Like I was very scared to join this program
I know you
because
were.
I felt emotional about it. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like what if I fail? Like what if I invest, all of this into myself and I fail, because I get inspired really quickly. And what if this is just another food thing that I fail?
Mhm.
And I was genuinely scared. But I think because I made the decision to like not just get my feet wet on Instagram or in different things, I jumped into the deep end in the group. And I remember, I think it was the first call, I remember saying that we were talking about how like when you say your things that you feel shameful about out loud, it takes away its power. And that
Mhm.
is a very true statement for a lot of things, and that includes food.
Yep.
And so I remember saying like, I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off. And I told a story of, I binged a bag of pretzels, and I was
Mhm.
just I felt so much shame behind it. But and then I had a restorative experience with this thing that I'm talking about. But I think looking back now is hilarious to
I
me that I
know.
forgot that that was the fear of mine. Because I feel so far in, that I'm just amazed and like surprised and very thankful for sure. And I just didn't think, I was like, what if it just doesn't work for me? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, like, everyone sees, the testimonials and they're like, wow, good for her. Like,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I was like, can that really be me? Like, that sounds too good to be true, honestly. But I mean, as you can see today, it's not too good for me. I'm still, still very much in it, and still have a lot of, I'm on almost on month 2, so I'm not that far along, but I've had intense progress that I never knew was possible. I'm still surprised. I'm like, what is happening? But hopefully I was able to articulate the mindset shift
Oh yeah.
so you guys understand it.
Well, and the reason I wanted to talk about it is because I think that that's the number one objection that I hear,
Mm,
is people being so scared. Well, I've tried all the things. I've tried all the other diets, or I've tried this program or that program, and I failed. And how is this going to be any different? And the problem, I think, more often than not, that I wish people would understand, is that it's not that you failed. It's the approach. It's the method. And so like at this point now, like, is failure even possible?
well,
Y-
I don't think so. I mean, um, and I remember you asking, now I'm thinking about it. I remember you asking me like, what would it look like to fail? And I couldn't even articulate it. Like,
mhm.
I like, I don't know. We were on a Zoom call, and I just remember feeling like at a loss of words. Um, so I think the fear of failure was very powerful over me.
Mhm.
Um, but I think, I don't remember what the definition is, but I think with, um, the whole courage thing is doing it in spite of the fear, or
Yes.
still doing it while you're fearful. And that's actually a resolution that I made, like a New Year's resolution I made like a few years ago. And I was like, I'm scared of these things,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm still going to do it while I'm scared. And I think that possibly had to do something with it in my subconscious. I just articulated that now, but I don't know in the moment if that's really, I don't know if I was thinking about that in the moment. I think I was just scared, but I was like, I know this is right for me. Like, I really identify with everything she's saying. I identify with with what I need to do in this program, but like, I'm just scared. And if that's the only reason that was holding me back, that's not
Mm-hmm.
a good reason not to do it, or in anything. I'm just saying, like, in anything, like, if it's a good fit, if your job is a good fit and whatever, or whatever it is, or you're in a relationship and you're just scared, I don't think that's a good reason to say no.
No, it's
So,
feel the fear and do it anyway. And I think that that can be so rewarding. By the way, I just saw that we've got some of our members. We've got a beautiful community. But some of them are here with us live. We've
aw.
got Joyce, and she says that one piece of the puzzle. That's right, like that. And Joyce was the same way, where she felt like she was getting some, like, she had like the self-love bit kind of going and was kind of figuring that bit out. But she's like, there's just this one piece of the puzzle. There's something, I'm so close, but there's
Yeah.
something missing that I can't seem to understand how to feel more in control and trust myself with food. And I think that she also felt this with the group, that coming into this group and learning this program was that one piece of the puzzle for her. And she's like, what if you succeed and you are, rather than what if I fail, what if you
Yeah.
succeed? And Michelle says, sounds like you were ready, and you were ready. Make your path through the field more and more clear. And it's true, just making that path. So thank you, ladies, so much for being here, by the way, and
Yeah.
supporting Miss
Same.
Bekah here. And I'd love for you, if you don't mind, can you share a little bit about your experience in the community? What has been the most beneficial part or takeaway for you?
Yeah. So I think the most beneficial is, well, I post in our group a
I
lot,
love
I feel like.
it.
And I'm in moments in my life, and it's usually has to do with food, that I am able to just type out what's going on, and whether it's like a positive thing, which a lot of it has been positive, or a
Mhm.
negative thing that I'm struggling with, but usually it's positive. Um, and what I mean by that is, like, it's a success. Um, um, like, I posted recently about these Doritos and this like
Mhm.
chocolate dessert, and my sister came back from Israel, and I don't like Doritos. Are okay in America, like, I like it fine, like, I'm not a Dorito person,
Mhm.
but in Israel the green Doritos are awesome. And so she brought it back. I was very thankful. And this other, like, it's called Rugelach. It's this chocolate dessert, and normally I would be like, oh my gosh, I need to eat all these Doritos now.
Mhm.
And there's like 12 things of this rugula, and there's, I live with a big family, and like, we just need to eat it now. And I had really good meals throughout the day, and this was at the end of the day, and I was like, you know what? I can have this tomorrow. I think I had half of the Doritos with like my meal,
Mhm.
and I really enjoyed it, and I put away the other half, and I was like, that is not like me," or like, that's like the old me, but like, that is not something that I would normally do, like, just put away Doritos. Like, what is
Mhm.
this? And it's just like, it's not a huge bag, it's just like a normal bag. But
Mhm.
I was like excited for the experience again the next day. And then with the rugula, I was like, you know what? I can have this with my coffee. And so I posted about it, and I was saying, like, the old me would have eaten all the Doritos, but now I'm just like, I'm enjoying the experience, not feeling rushed, and just knowing that it's okay to have it for later. So, like, there are moments like this that I'm able to just, write a little paragraph about,
Mhm.
and then keep reaffirming it with other people's encouragement, and just like affirming it. And I know we talked a little bit about, it's really good to keep affirming yourself, and to keep like voicing these things, because you're changing your, not brainwaves,
You're
brain path.
literally
Wait, explain it.
rewiring your brain. Yeah, like
Yeah.
where it's neuroplasticity, like you're literally pruning away the wiring of old unserving habits and
Yeah.
strengthening the wiring of better serving patterns and behaviors and thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, and it's weird. Like, I really feel like things are changing because there are things, or like, now that I'm noticing that it's like, that is an old habit that I'm like, eating, there's a few potatoes left. So I was eating the potato when I was like, these little potatoes that I was already done eating, and there was 3 left. So it's like, oh, you got to eat. There's 3. Are you really going to put 3 in the fridge? Like, or putting away strawberries. I found myself putting away strawberries. I'm like, after I didn't finish the plate, like, that's weird. But, or on the contrary, if I was eating those potatoes because they're there, and I'm just like, wait, I don't need this. Why am I doing this? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, I think I explained in the other call that like sometimes these analogies just like come in my mind, but it's like, we're these robots, and like
Yes.
we think a certain way about food. And like in this program, I've taken out this like thing, and then I like see my old self and I'm like, wait, you don't have to live like that. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
really? Um, but anyways, or another thing that happened was I was on a trip with my family and something was frustrating me or
Mm-hmm.
annoying me. And I went to go grab chocolate, and I just walked into the other room and to go get chocolate. And I was just doing it so mindlessly,
Mm-hmm.
like almost like it was just like rote. Like I was
I
just
call it
going there,
autopilot
and I
mode.
was
Like,
opening the chocolate. Yeah, autopilot. Like I literally was not consciously flying my plane. um, and I started opening the chocolate, and I was like, wait a minute, this is just a habit because I'm stressed right now.
mm-hmm.
And I was like, what can I do to just like relieve some stress? So what I did was I dropped and I did 5 push-ups. And I was just like, it wasn't to get a workout in. It
No,
wasn't it was just because I wanted to release some stress, and it worked. Like, it literally worked. And I was amazed. I was like, wow, I got that high or whatever in that moment of stress release. And I was so grateful because I just felt so in control of my body. Like, I don't have to turn to food when I'm stressed. Like, I can't, like, sometimes I wanted to be like a person where I'm just going to go for a walk. Like,
mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go for a walk. And that, kind of takes some time. I respect people who do it. I
Yeah,
eventually want to be like that. But if I'm just stressed about something quickly, and I'm able and capable of doing push-ups, that was just a stress release that worked for me. So I
for
like
sure.
posted in the chat, and everyone was like, yeah. So like so I think by having a support and continuing to post and then get
Mm-hmm.
reaffirmed by this community has been amazing. Like, has been so I attribute a lot of that to the success, and not just, having the calls and verbally processing, which I am a verbal processor, but
Mm-hmm.
literally consciously typing out what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. I also posted recently, I was stressed about something, and instead of turning to food, I logically talked it through,
Yeah.
and then I was good. And I was like,
Yep.
whoa, like my mental health is getting better. Like, I didn't even need to turn to food. I just talked it through. I released it, and I moved on with my day. So it like not only affects my relationship with food, but
Mm-hmm.
like just my work life and my personal life. And it just like, it was really a game changer for me. And I'm just like, wow. Like, there was a stressful thing that happened recently. And then I didn't even want to turn to food. I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to figure this out. Instead of suppressing, because a lot of times what I did was I kind of didn't think about the emotion or something,
Mm-hmm.
and just turned to food on autopilot. And it didn't really fix the problem, except it,
Mm-hmm.
made my stomach hurt maybe, which makes another problem.
Right.
So that has been like being able to literally in the moment of something to like type it out and know that other people are reading it and be like, oh, that's cool. Like, it's like we have our little Twitter, but
I
like it's
know.
for a private group. Like, you just tweeting how you're feeling. But it's really amazing. And not just saying the positive things, but also
Yeah.
there was a time where I was on a trip, and I felt like I was it was like, I think I don't know, like a couple weeks ago, and I felt like I was eating too much. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of overwhelming. I felt like I was eating too much, and I was very frustrated with myself, and I was like, is this like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I'm kind of failing, like this is frustrating. I'm not listening to my body, and I'm letting myself be. But then, instead of just like restricting myself and being like, oh, I'm just gonna forget it, like I woke up the next day and had normal meals, which is a
Mm-hmm.
really big important thing. And then I think it was like a week later, there was like 2 days where I was overeating a little bit and I was frustrated with that. And I turned around the next day and I just ate normally and I had a good day. And so it went from like a week of frustration that one time where I ate too much throughout the week and I recovered, it was fine. And then there was this 2 days where I was frustrated and eating too much. And then, so it was like 7 days of frustration compared to 2 days of frustration, and then not having anything like that since. And that was the only times where I felt like I really overate from emotional or emotional eating or stress eating. Other than that, I really haven't overeaten. And that's like so different for me. Like that's like, it's just, it was almost like a part of my identity of like overeating, not like a conscious identity of like, oh,
Oh yeah.
hi guys, I'm Rebecca and I'm an overeater. Not like that, but like just how I perceive myself. And so not having to overeat like has changed my life because I'm able to just like eat normally and just be present and then move on to the next meal. And now I'm like noticing gentle hunger. And then I don't necessarily think about food for the next couple hours. And I never thought that was possible either. I was like, wait, I always think about food. I'm like, what is happening?
Oh my
So
gosh, this is so cool. Like, there's just a couple things. Michelle says she's really, really proud of you. And she's like, these things may not be considered weird anymore, that these are just your new normal, which is what we teach in the program, is that like to have, like you were saying, overeating and feeling like you were always thinking about food, whether you knew it or not, you were subconsciously identifying with that. And now
mhm.
to be in this place where it is just who you are, to have a normal relationship with food, that when you're stressed, you don't turn to food, like you just deal with it head on, or you do some form of change of state, like changing your physiology, whether that be with a walk or be with push-ups. But that's your, now that's becoming your autopilot. That's becoming who you are. And I just think that that is so, so
Yeah.
cool. I love that you're not thinking so much about food. I love that you have these other coping mechanisms. I love that you've been able to like enjoy food. One thing I do want to make very clear for some people, and I'd love for you to talk me through, over and over again, you said, I put strawberries away, I put potatoes away, I threw the French fries away, I was done with just 2 scoops of ice cream. And I think some people get it in their heads. They're like, oh, okay, so here's what I have to do. I can let myself have quote unquote bad foods every now and then, but I only let myself have a little bit. Like, you are telling yourself, oh, all right, I can have ice cream, but I can only have this much, or I can have French fries, but I can't have them all.
Yeah.
What is like the
The
mental,
thought
like
process and
the
all of that.
thought
Yeah.
process?
So I'll say it with two examples, like what you said, the French fries and the ice cream. So for the French fries, I was about to coach volleyball and I needed some dinner. So I went to like a fast food restaurant and I got like a grilled chicken sandwich and I just wanted some fries. And I'm not going to restrict myself from not having fries. I was like, oh, maybe I could have not as a method of restriction, but just as, oh, this would be nice. This would be some nice variety. Like, can I have half fries and half celery? Because that would taste good. And I would like that in the moment. And they're like, we don't do celery anymore. I'm like, okay. And so I just got the fries and I was eating the sandwich and I was enjoying it. I was eating the fries. And then at some point, I don't know if this has ever happened to me before, but it just it didn't have that spark of like tasting so good. Like, oh, these fries are so good. And I was like, because you said that in the program too, and some of your things, like notice what it tastes like. If it doesn't taste good anymore, like as you're eating it, like maybe you're done. And that is not something I'm used to, of like, no, I pay for these fries. I'm gonna get my fries. And so
Get the money's
yeah,
worth.
yeah, getting my money's worth. And that's how I've thought about getting my money's worth. And I just put the fries away and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw it away. I'm going to coach volleyball anyways. Like, I don't need this. Like, I'm not gonna eat cold fries when I come back. And so it wasn't this idea of restriction. It was just like, I was done. Like, I'm beginning to trust my body. And I think, I forget if you said Sean or Michelle was saying, or maybe it was Joyce was saying something about trust in your body. I think it was Joyce. That is something I just did not do. Like, I did not trust my body. Like, I don't know. How can you trust it to know when it's hungry and full? Like, I just didn't know what that was like. And I was almost skeptical of it. I was like, I don't know, but I just was done. And that was an example. And then the ice cream, I had a really good dinner and, there's this ice cream shop and and if it's raining, you get a scoop free. So I was like, so it wasn't really quite raining, but I went with my brother and I walked up to the guy and I was like, do you consider it raining? He's like, no. And I'm like, kind of asked him again. He was, okay, I guess it's raining and I'll give you this. So I had like these two scoops of ice cream, and I was starting to eat it. And I was like halfway through, or maybe a little bit more than halfway, probably more than halfway. I was like, I feel done. Like, I had a great dinner and I'm good. Like, and I threw away like a good amount of ice cream. Like, I was surprised. Um, and I just went and threw it away. And that is just, there are people, listen, there are people who do that normally and grow up doing that normally, and people who can just push their food away or be like, do you want to finish this? And like, I remember, this is this is one of my most embarrassing stories as a child, but I was in kindergarten or first grade or something like that. And this person was eating pizza and they were done. And I was like, can I have your crust? And so I like tried to tear the crust, and I'm little too. So I'm like trying to tear it, and I hit the water bottle, and like, things start flying everywhere. And I think even in this moment now, I think I'm realizing that maybe that has something to do with, I don't know, that has something to do with my story, but it's done with the pizza. And I was like, I'll have it. It's free, like thinking that as a kindergartner. I don't know. I don't even think I thought it's free as a kindergartner. I just did that. And I was so embarrassed and felt a lot of shame as that little. And anyways, so I lost my train of thought by sharing that story. I rarely share that story, but hopefully when people, if anyone's listening, if you share those stories, like, it actually does take some of its power away. I literally tore a piece of pizza and water bottles started flying. Like, that's what happened. And so, yeah, now I'm forgetting my train of thought, but just
I think it's that idea,
ice cream. I threw,
you don't need it.
Yeah, I don't need it, but also, like, some people just know when they're finished, and they're like intuitive eaters. Like, I think I read a quote that said, if diet culture wasn't a thing, then intuitive eating would just be called eating.
Yes.
And so I was like, yeah, that's so true. And I was thinking about this analogy the other day, and it's like, I was never taught how to ride a bike. Like, just the kind of, because when you're starting to ride a bike, you kind of mess up or whatever, but then you're good and you're going. But this is just like a skill that I never like acquired. Like, I just never acquired growing up, and I'm just like learning how to ride a bike late in life. Or not even that late. Like, I'm not that late, cool. but just like, it's just like a kind of an analogy that I feel like these are like things that are simple for some people, but hard for others. Just like I have great strengths in other areas, and this is just not natural for me. So I think in those stories, it just shows that, like, I can be content in not having everything. And another thing that was helpful is, it's not like I wouldn't have ice cream on an empty stomach. I don't think that would be a wise move for me, because ice cream is one of those foods that I feel like I could eat a lot of. And so I think, and then with the fries too, I had a grilled chicken good sandwich with the fries. If I had the fries on my own, I probably would have had all of it. But by pairing it, like we talk about, what can I add instead of take away? And that's been a game changer for me too, because I just had a great meal and then I got ice cream. It wasn't the other way around. And it's not even the concept of eat your food before you get dessert. Like, it's not even that. It's just like, pair it so that you have something good and protein filled and you're satiated, so you're not like ravenously eating ice cream until your stomach hurts. So it's pairing, how can I have a good experience, a healthy mindset, and a healthy way of life all at the same time? And sometimes I feel like there's this I don't know, this thing with intuitive eating where it's like, oh, you can have whatever you want. Like, there's endless, so that's what was, when I was coming into it, I was like, this is kind of hard and confusing, but it's not even like I was explaining it, I think to my mom or something. And it was like telling a kid, oh, you can't have this, you can't have this, you can't have this. And then you're going to want it even more, obviously, or don't step over that green line or whatever. And it's the same thing by like, if you can affect yourself mentally, like, oh, I can have this whenever I want, then if I can have this whenever I want, then I won't overeat. and then I'll be more present, and then I'll have a good life. It's not like you can have whatever and then you're going to turn into, my 600-pound life on TLC.
Yeah.
Like, that's not it at all. It's like, how can I have both, and what does that look like? And so for me, I just want to kind of touch on that, because that was an intimidating part for me.
Yes.
But now I'm learning about it more, and it's like you can have good meals, healthy meals, protein filled, fiber filled, all this stuff, and yummy food, and not restrict yourself, and enjoy the moment, and then move on in life. And I'm actually eating a lot less than what I have been, because I'm not overeating and I'm not restricting myself. So it's a very healthy mindset. It's just sometimes on the surface, I feel like it can be a little confusing, if that makes sense.
Oh, 100%. And it's been the hardest thing for me to try and explain, because I know that idea, like one of the main ideas of intuitive eating is that you give yourself unconditional permission to eat at any time, to eat as much as you want, and to eat whatever you want. But we do come from a place of body respect and body love, and like making sure we are eating in a way that supports our health, that makes us feel good, and having that be our primary focus as well, is to feel good and not just about the aesthetics, because sometimes that can lead to self-sabotage when that's our focus.
Yeah. And also, like, trusting your body and respecting your body. Like, I didn't even really realize that I didn't fully respect my body. Not that I did anything to really disrespect it in any way, but just like, I didn't have a respect enough for it. Like if I did, I would probably stop eating when I'm full, because I respect my body not to have a stomach ache or whatever it is. Like, I will not over exercise and do something, because I respect myself. And also, I don't know, the whole, maybe this is another topic, but like the whole body neutrality too is it's okay to not. I saw this, I think it was this video of someone saying, you don't have to love your body to respect your body, but you have to respect your body to love your body. I think that's what it said. And that's so huge. You don't have to be like, oh my gosh, I just love the way my stomach looks right now. You don't have to say that, but you can say, I love that my stomach can digest food well now. Or instead of saying I just don't like the way my arms look. Or you don't have to say, I love the way my arms look, when you don't love the way your arms look, right?
No.
But you can say, but I am working on getting a pull-up right now, which is currently what I'm doing. But so you can do those things. You don't have to go to this extreme of loving everything about your body when you don't have to. But loving your body and I think respecting your body are two similar things, but are in different categories. Yeah. And I think it's good to differentiate, so there's not confusion. And then you're like, wait, but I don't love my body. And how does that work? You can respect your body by honoring it. And the more you honor it, you say what appreciates, or what you appreciate appreciates.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I love that. And I would just, for a real quick touch on it, I know you're not the only one. I love everyone who's been on here. We've been on here for a while, and I appreciate you being here. And we're going to I'll open it up for questions in a sec. But I would love for you to because I think sometimes people think if I love my body now, that means I give up on myself. That means that I'm not going to try anymore. I'm just going to allow myself to just eat junk food all the time. I'm going to balloon up. I gave up. And for you, what does that mean for you and where your mindset is now?
Yeah. So that was something that I really did struggle with at the beginning of the program, of trying to figure out where that balance is. Mm-hmm. And this is something else that shifted my mindset for me. And what it was I told myself my success in this program, my ability to heal healing my relationship with food is my first priority.
Yes.
So if I have to be at the same weight that I am now and have a healthier relationship with food, then yes, that's me. So, but I will say, because I am pursuing this healthy relationship with food and eating good, nutritious, filling, yummy foods all at the same time, I'm noticing my, clothes are getting looser, and I'm noticing things might be changing a little. But because I'm not prioritizing this aesthetic look, I'm appreciating my body for different things it can do. that's like a big mindset shift. I think I forgot even to mention that before, that changed for me, that this is more important than all of this. So I'm going to prioritize this at the top. And then as a byproduct, these other things will come. And I'm going to be so grateful for it, because those are some desires of my heart, but they're not, it's not the number one. Because that's like, we talk about, your why, and like, that's really important. I want to be able to, be a good influence on people around me, and hopefully having, kids in the future or whatever. Like, I want to be that person that has a healthy relationship with food and a healthy relationship with, my body, because I know what it's like to see people who don't have that and how it affects other people. And so that is the most important thing for me. And that's where my mindset shifted, because before I was just wrestling with what's more important. Like, how do I do this? How do I rationalize this? And, thinking about it and stuff like that. But then when I decided that, I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. And I think I attribute a lot of that to success too.
100%. I if anyone takes anything away from this, like, it's that if you can make your primary focus, your primary goal to heal your relationship with food, to, as we say, and I know you came in here and you were scared. You're like, Kels, I still want to lose weight. And I'm like, I know you do. And that's okay. I'm not telling you that you can't want to lose weight. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying that we can't put that desire for weight loss ahead of this, and make it so that, like, you are then, because sometimes that may mean that we take unhealthy measures to, right? Like you had done before. You had those 8 weeks where you did lose weight, but you had done it in an unhealthy, unsustainable way that the weight rebounded. And again, that is not a failure on you. That is not you. That is just, that's what can happen. And so I really appreciate, and I want people to just take that away, that, guys, those results and you feeling more confident, you feeling better about yourself, even your clothes fitting better, like all of those things can come, but they come as a product when you shift your mindset to making healing your relationship with food primary. So
right. And you
so
have to respect your body first. You have to respect your body first and understand that. Cause like, I mean, I want to be the healthiest version of myself possible. And that probably is less fat on my body than it is right now, but that's not the number one priority, but as a byproduct. So like, I'm grateful that things are changing, but that's not where my number one focus is. And that's really what changed it for me. Like, I don't even remember when I had that moment with myself, but it was a conscious moment in my mind that was like, okay, now it's different. And now I'm able to actually move forward in my relationship with food by not restricting, by not getting upset with how much I ate, and then restricting, and then eating too much, and then working out, and then the next day starting over, like the pendulum swing. And so because I have a healthy relationship with food, I'm not going to be swinging back and forth. And because of that, I'm not going to be overeating. And because of that, then I'll start, getting healthier and losing fat or whatever it is. But it's not the priority. So I think you have to, I think there has to be levels of that before, just like saying, tell me what to do to lose weight, because you're not really fixing the problem.
And that's it, right? So many people, and we talk about it with the iceberg. So many people are focused on the tip of the iceberg. They're focused on, like, just tell me what to eat, just tell me how to work out. And we in our program go underneath the surface and really try and be like, no, what's the root? What is the root cause of why you're overeating or stress eating or feeling out of control with food? Like, what's the root reason why you're not feeling comfortable in your own skin? So I just love that so much. And I know we're coming up on an hour, guys. So thank you guys all for being here. I just wanted to make sure, does anyone have any questions? And while we wait on that, because I know there's a bit of a delay with those, I would love if someone was considering joining the community, joining the program, and going on this journey, what would be your advice?
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to what I said before on the whole fear thing, is if you feel that you are, an ambitious woman and you are successful in life and you just can't get this food thing right, you are all or nothing, then I would encourage you to, talk to Kelsey and see if it is a good fit. If the only reason you don't want to do it is because of fear, if that's the only reason holding you back, then I don't think that's a good reason from my personal experience and my perspective. So yeah, I would encourage you to just explore it. I think you came out with a video recently. I think I'm halfway through of, I forget what it's called, but about what, about the
Oh,
program. And
break free from the all
yeah,
or nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it really goes into a deep dive. And I haven't even gone, haven't even been able to listen to the whole thing, but so far what I listened to is amazing. And I think sometimes, people, think it might be so broad that like, how can I really change my life when this is so broad, intuitive eating and all these things are so different, but you really get a grasp of like scientific things and like what actually happens, what diets actually do to your body. And like, you're not just filled with, oh my gosh, empowerment and encouragement, but you're filled with knowledge and
Mhm.
education. And they say knowledge is power. And that's really important to this so that you can own your own journey. And I think what's cool too is I think everyone's journey is very, individual, but we all happen to be like on the same in the same boat, um, figuratively speaking. And it's just cool to be able to encourage each other because everyone's journey is a little bit different. And so for me, what's really, kind of released and like, been really good is like, I pull some things that are really strong. And then some things are helpful, but I stick to different things. And it's just kind of, it just depends on your journey and how you like what you need. But I really thought that I was be someone that was like, I just think I'm gonna fail at this, and so frustrated and like really like if I can do it, you could do it. Like I really didn't think I could. I was really nervous and scared, and I really thought I'm just never gonna get this right. I like really kind of not made peace with it, but I was like, this is probably how I'm gonna be the rest of my life. And how sad is that? I really thought that for a while. I was like, I would go through these I would get so frustrated and I would talk to people and I'd be like, "Oh, I just can't get it right." I would get emotional, but it's really amazing. Like I'm really understanding what food freedom is. Um, I posted in the group something and I was like, this is what food freedom is. And then someone said, that's life freedom. I'm like, yeah, that's true. That's
Oh,
true.
I love
And
that.
so, yeah, so it really affects other areas of your life. And I would at least encourage you to highly consider it and to look into it, to watch that video and see if because I identified with Kelsey for like a couple of years, and this is where I'm at now. And I think it was the right time for me. So I'm really grateful for you know, where I've been able to come with this and with the program.
Oh my gosh, Bekah, I couldn't be more proud. Rebecca says here, Bekah is a rock star. Um, so
Thank
Rebecca is also in our group. And I seriously, I'm so proud of you. I so appreciate you being here and coming on with me, sharing your story. And guys, just like she was saying, I have that free training. It's how to break free from the all or nothing with food. If that is something that you struggle with, like, I promise I have all the science in there so that you can leave feeling really empowered and step by step exactly how you can find food freedom and body confidence for yourself. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more, you can either send me a comment down here, masterclass, or you can go to www.rediscoveryoufree.com/masterclass, and you can learn exactly step by step what Bekah has been doing to come here. Or if you'd like to chat and learn more about the community, feel free to come and say hi. Which, speaking of which, Bekah, if anybody wanted to connect with you, I may be
Yeah.
posting this on Instagram. What is your handle? And are you okay with people DMing you and saying hi?
Yeah, of course. I have like a workout account where I put food, and it's very simple. It's called Bekah Works Out. I know.
I love it.
But that's what it's called, at Bekah Works Out, Bekah. And yeah, I would love to engage with you and talk to you, and can follow some of my journey. I post food sometimes and workouts too. So
It's awesome. No, I love it. She's getting back into doing pull-ups, which is super, super exciting. And
yep,
again, like,
that's what I'm doing.
what a shift. It's not to look a certain way, but it's to just be able to continue to be strong and to continue to show up for yourself, to keep
Mhm.
promises to yourself. And yeah, so, oh my gosh,
Life
Bekah,
changing.
thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being just such an amazing role model and leader in our community. I can't thank you enough for all the things. And yeah, we'll let everybody go. Thank you guys for being with us for the full hour. And
Yes, thank you for listening, everyone. And I'm so grateful and feel very honored to be on here with you guys. This is like pretty amazing. This is so cool.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. All right, guys, we'll let you go. Have an amazing Thursday, everybody. We will see you next week, and I'll talk to you then.